Oh, hello everyone. Happy to see all of you. My friends, close friends. I have not been maybe 3 years on stage that big, but today I want to share a really interesting thing that I was thinking maybe more than 2 years. But before I will dive deeper into how you can see your career as a product and why you have to do that, I want to touch what Google shared with us. And I really love the state that we should advocate about human-led cultures between us and between people. Because sometimes we call ourselves tech lead, design lead, but at the end of the day, it's about the human connections. At the same time, the one part was about leadership alignment, right, on your talk. And today I invited my leader at this stage, and I'm trying to share the topics with her. And at the same time, what you mentioned about the design was quite really related to our communication and collaboration, right? And my one advice to your design leadership direction is that, well, it's human-led culture, and talk with them and share your thoughts with them, even invite to the talks like this one. So it was a really inspirational talk. So we are on the growth stage, right? And many times we were talking about the companies and products, how we should grow our thing. But the main topics we should think a little bit different is that what about our careers? The way we think about the products, how we should think about our careers itself. So how we should do what we love, what you are good at, and what the world actually needs. So all these three should be together to make your career like your product. So I came with two hypotheses. So all the designers have hypotheses to prove right on any table. So my one hypothesis is that every great product should have a set of unique and accumulating competitive advantage. You should be different somehow, right? Your product or the things you are building should be way different than your competition. And I believe that your career is no different. And at the same time, nowadays, every great product should have loops built in to lead sustainability and compounding and growth. So yesterday I had a panel discussion with a person, and do you know how I introduced him? This is a guy, seasoned product designer, once flashed good product designer and was designing things on the flash, and then moved to AR and VR. But all of we know that Flash now is dead. No one using Flash actually because it's dead. How he thought these areas that he had to move from the things that he is doing today and move to different area, even different tools, right? At the same time, we listened that even last year, how we were doing design system is quite different than today. So we should adapt. And at the same time, not like just a little bit, but even more further. When we talk about the products, we many times are advised to our products should be 10x, right? 10x more, and not 10% improvement or even little improvement, right? So every product, if you want to create some differentiate in the market, they should be 10x better than the competitors in the market. And what happens if you think about our careers? So what skills and knowledge should we have to be 10x? So there's a great book about get so good that they can't ignore you. What's the skills and the knowledge you should have to stimulate and mimic yourself to the products we are building? At the same time, when you have some skills and knowledge, and at the same time when you have a product, the next stage is what? The growth. How you will bring this product to the customers, right? Not first customers, but as a general to the mass markets. So, and in the career, it's the same. Some of the times you know things, but how you brand yourself and how you participate in the network. So does some people know that you can do that, right? Maybe you're a great designer or great developer, you can do things, but how many people knows about you? What values you can bring to them, right? All of these things need to brand your career and at the same time build your network intelligence. And I will talk about a little bit later. And at the same time, every great product builds some defensibility, especially not products, but the companies too. Because when you build great products and when you have some kind of growth, nowadays it's time to time it's really easy to be replicable, right? And at the same time, skills are learnable too as time goes. So somehow companies have to build the defensibility. And the second area for you is on your career is that you have to do the same. Because nowadays, if you don't play about ChatGPTs and how actually you can type things and get the results, or don't match this experience in the design world, on the development world, who knows what will be next? We have to play those new things. At the same time, some products make some mistakes too. And as same we are doing in the careers. So you know some products which is built in a wrong time or in a totally wrong market, right? The same happens in the career. Working in a dying industry or working somewhere that the next day what you have done yesterday does not provide any value for tomorrow. For example, you work on some really domain thing which is unique, but for tomorrow or in next different company, it does not provide any value for you. So it works the same in your career. At the same time, there was one last thing that products make mistakes is that they don't shipping or iterating quickly enough. And we know many articles around this topic, but what happens in the career side? So staying the same job and at the same time same role or the same scope many times, even years, it's like the same as companies do. If you think that one products we are building the same features and don't think about what should they add and how they should improve, what about our career? What's the things we should add in ourselves, right? And we have to think about the same way. So yeah, what I tried is to try to make a close the product visions and product thinking to the career thinking. And I want to add the one addition thing on top of it. And it's about product growth loops. It's a kind of new thing that how really tech companies treat how they grow themselves, right? And how we should implement these loops in our career. Obviously, even months ago, I really was familiar about the funnels, right? You have a great product, you attract users, and you convert them, right? I create advertisement or some kind of sales, and some portion of it converted. So what happens nowadays? So is it sustainable to do? For sure, to attract users requires additional resources too. But what great products do is that to automate the attraction process. And it's all about the loops, right? When you attract the one user, you give them the value, and the result is that it itself attracts the new user. So it's a loop. And how we should transfer this into our careers? The first step is that you develop special skills and knowledge. And at the same time, when you have it, or some part of it, you start building to brand yourself. And how? By sharing your knowledge. And at the same time, when you share your knowledge, either on Facebook or your colleagues, or you have internal meetups, the next step is to build unique network through your brand. And the last step is to build financial capital from it. So what all these things happens right here and what's happening? So you acquired new skill You share your knowledge, and you're starting to build your networks through it. And at the same time, if you want to fully have and fully mimic the products, somehow you have to capture some portion of it to your financial capital, at the same time social capital, right? And by saying the capital, sometimes career is not always assigned to the career capital, right? But capital means that when someone will ask you about your advisory, or someone when you will invite to your company, or someone will ask you to do job for their needs, right? And if we need to get it, right? We have to do this loop, and it's always continuous, right? So all of you, I'm 100% sure that you know about the MVP and how this translates in our career area. So what you need to start this loop actually. So you need the minimum viable money to keep going and don't to stay at the job that does not grow yourself. So for most of you, what's the minimum valuable money to acquire new skill today or knowledge? Do you want to learn a little bit about the code? You can get, I know the 2 days Taj conference was much costly, the ticket, than any ticket you can get to get intro into development or intro into how you can use ChatGPTs to be a step further on what you're doing. At the same time for Figma. I remember 2 days ago I encountered one person and she even could not create a rectangle in the Figma. And I was like, man, you have to do that. It's really easy. Just watch 1 hour of YouTube about the Figma and you can communicate well with designers, right? And today, you really need minimum money and minimum time to acquire the skills. The skills, especially you should start with the people you are working with, right? It's either development or marketing or design too, right? And at the same time, in terms of MVPs through the products, you need the minimum viable network, right? The real funny thing is that how I'm staying in this stage, it was just one message to the organizers said, well, I know that when they first published this event, maybe months ago, I just messaged them that if there should be any design-related topics and I should be beneficial there, I'm ready to collaborate. And now I'm here. So it's not maybe some next years, I encourage you to try. It's just one message, right? Because there's many moderators and talk panelists and the speeches, and most definitely there will be some space for you in networks, right? You don't need too much think on this area. And at the same time, minimum viable reputation, right? Some of you, if you don't share anything on Facebook, no one will bring to the stage or in the room where something happens. So what's the cost of sharing something on the Facebook? What's the cost? Don't you know what to share? Just open Twitter or LinkedIn. Be curious to gather some information, right? New tools, new demos, new knowledge. And just copy and paste somewhere in the small network. And when I'm talking about the network, something is really maybe strange with me because I don't post on Facebook. If you search me on the Facebook, I never post in public, never. At the same time, I don't have Instagram, at the same time, TikTok. But somehow, I'm on this stage. Well, how? But most of the people who knows me, I'm really active in strategical way. I'm really active in the Facebook chats and Facebook groups. I'm really active in designers group, which we have in Georgia, and at the same time specific groups. And I all encourage to join them and share your knowledge, right? Because what was the first step? The first step was to acquire knowledge, the things you are hard, and things that are not just only one, but the several things. And at the same time, thinking about your brand, right? And at the same time, help others know more. I see on this audience that there are several people who I notified on Facebook. They were sharing things like their design work or their several interesting articles, and I contacted them. I provide them with some resources, and they're now part of the huge brands. So that's the same, right? It's like really easy to do. Like help others know more. You shared about how you struggled about the design system. Some others shared today that how they can develop applications without agile coaches or even without testers. It's just a thought, but well, the cost to share is nearly nothing, right? And at the same time, it's not only that you share. You have to think about network intelligence. And when I speak about network intelligence, that I want to talk about the people. No ChatGPTs, no Google, and even not books and not blog posts have information you need. All the information is within the people you interact with. And why? The most valuable professional information is often on other people's heads because they can provide you some time valuable information and time sensitive, and at the same time related to you. So I really encourage yourself to talk to people. Sometimes I ask my colleagues that when was the last time you talked to your leader or your manager, and they encounter me like not this month or even not to 2 months, and I'm really surprised. And why? So talking to others about anything, there is many topics you can talk, and at the same time you can ask to what should we talk about, right? Because yeah, you can use ChatGPT to define your thoughts or uncover something, but if you are doing something in some small environment, you have to talk to people, and people are there, right? At the same time, people you know have some competitive advantage over others. So the more people you know, the more people you can talk with, it's a competitive advantage. Because I don't know, but I know some people who can do great work at their jobs, are really positive people, right? But they don't talk. They don't have many different opportunities out there. And there was one thing and when I see the other people and what's their advantage is that they talk with them. And by talking, I don't mean about the work. So who likes the board games? Who likes the football? Who likes shooting photos? There's many different activities that you can express yourself. So at a company where I'm working, I play football. I'm not good at it, but I know different people with there. At the same time, I'm not good at playing board games. Maybe I'm the last one on strategic wise to quickly acquire how play works, but in a positive manner, when I'm at the work in different areas, I know some people, and it's really easy for me to open with them. And at the same time, they are really open to me. So what's the other things that you can get? So everything happens, why you have to learn something? Why you have to help others to learn? Why you have to create or join the network? So it's about the social capital and how you can convert all of these things into the financial capital and the social capital too. So if you are not invited, maybe, I don't know, compare yourself like last 5 months, right? If you are not invited in the talks that someone thinks that you should do something for them, you have to think about it. If you are a developer and no one's approaching you to join their company or like develop something for them, or you're a designer or you're the manager, our skills, especially in tech, is high demand. But if no one is knocking your door today, you have to think about that. So network, brand, by sharing, and the capital you can build. And I will skip this slide for the time. And that's all the things I we were discussing today. So to sum up, there's several things you don't have to skip. So discover what's easy for you but hard for others. Well, there's many things that are hard for others. In 2 days ago, when I saw that how struggle it was to draw the rectangle in Figma, and it was really very hard for him, I was really surprised. But believe me, there's many things which are hard for others, right? Maybe creating presentation, maybe the design, development, even encourage people to do, right? You obviously found that one and strengthen that. And at the same time, don't ignore your brand. Share what you are doing. And at the same time, think about the network and how you can leverage this network, right? Don't skip the first 1 and 2 because you have to be skilled and knowledged to build this flow and this loop in yourself. So the last slide I have for you is that you can Lego yourself. What I'm doing every year is that I have this four category and what I should do. And one of them for my unique network access and strength was to participate in this network today at the touch. What should you do tomorrow? Where you can participate? What groups you should join? What new skill or knowledge you can acquire, right? And use this to Lego yourself, to transfer your career and mimic the great products, digital products actually are building today. Thank you. There are several articles. You can scan this QR code, and I added several additional resources. And obviously, it's the articles for very well-known people to expand even your thinking on this direction. Thank you again.